welcome. Thank you for joining me for this short vinyasa flow. We're going to be working on our balance today, so maybe getting a little bit wobbly, and we will be challenging our core strengths. We're actually going to start with a couple of core exercises. If you happen to have a yoga block, it will be extremely handy for today's class. If you don't have a yoga block, maybe grab a kind of 3 to 4 inch thick book, something that's a little bit sturdy. We're going to squeeze between our legs this prop, whether it's a block or a book, just to assist us in activating. If you don't have one, go ahead and follow all of the instructions with the exception of the block being there. You can set that down by your side if you have one and lie down on your back. As you come onto your back, you'll want to draw the soles of your feet in so your knees are pointing up towards the ceiling. And then just let your hands rest on your hip bones. As you inhale, totally relax. Really relax your shoulder blades and your belly. And then as you exhale, you're going to draw your belly button towards the floor. And hopefully what you feel is your hip bones, your pelvis, tilting towards you as your low back goes towards the mat. You might even feel your buttocks and your thighs start to firm up. As you inhale, let all that go, totally relax. Your pelvis should tilt a little bit away from you. Exhale to contract. It's a little baby pelvic tilt. And inhale to release. We're going to do that a few more times. You might start to notice that your abdominals, of course, are doing a little bit of work here. But it's not just the abdominal muscles. The hip flexors, the quadriceps, the buttocks, the backs of the thighs, the hamstrings, all of these things are working in concert here just to move your hips forward and backward. Let's do one more like that. And then let's add on. Draw the belly button towards the floor as you exhale. Now push into your heels and lift your hips up a few inches is fine. You can go all the way up if you're ready. And then lower down. If you want to bring your hands to your sides for a little bit of support, please do. Totally relax. Exhale, push the belly button down, lift everything up. Inhale, lower and relax. Do that a few more times. Imagine that there's a string attached to your belly button and somebody's pulling it up as you exhale and releasing that down to the floor as you inhale. So you start by firming the belly button to the floor and then sucking it up and then release. Let's do 2 more. And on this last one, you're going to stay up. Keep your hips a little bit lifted. Press down into your left heel, and maybe you can lift your right heel away from the floor. You don't even need to lift your foot, just there. Lift your left hip a little higher. Feel your legs working. Feel your core working. If you want to go a little further, you could lift your right leg away from the floor. I like to do kind of a 90 degree with my leg, but it can be lower as needed. Keep lifting your left hip a little bit. Take another breath. And release. Even the hips, if you need to lower down and relift, that's fine. Bring the weight to the right a little bit. Press the right heel down, lift the left heel. And that's plenty. You can probably already feel that. You can stay right there and just enjoy. Or if you want a little more, you can try and float that foot. And you'll notice as you float, you might even be able to see it if you're watching me. Oh, my right hip dips. You gotta lift your right hip back up. You can do the kind of crook of the leg if you want to. I think that's a little easier myself. This is hard work. Let's hold for another deep breath. Keep lifting that right hip up. And then release the foot. Push both feet equally into the mat as you exhale. Lift up a little higher. And then as you inhale, float the legs down. Now grab, if you have one, your block or your book. And you want to put, it's the thinner part of the block between your thighs, the firmest part of your book, so you can squeeze your inner thighs together. If you don't have that, you're to imagine that you're squeezing, but without moving your knees to touch one another. And then from there, you're going to draw your knees in towards your chest. And if you need to, you can always remove the block, draw the knees in one at a time, and then place the block between the legs. From here, stack your knees above your hips. Flex your toes, so your toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. You can bring your hands down by your sides if you want. You're going to exhale, press your belly button to the floor and just lift the back of your head off the mat. Squeeze the block in and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your head down. You're going to repeat that. Squeeze the block. Lift the head up. Hold for 5. Maybe you want to float your arms. 4, 3. Keep squeezing. 2, 1. Let go. We're going to do one more like that. So you let go. You kind of relax. If you need to draw your knees in, do. Restack the knees. Press the belly button to the floor. Exhale to lift. You can float the arms if you want. Keep squeezing the inner thighs together. So you're activating the legs as well as those abdominal muscles. Got one more deep breath here. And then you're going to lower down. Draw your knees into your chest. You can remove the block or not. Maybe a little rock from side to side. We have one more exercise here to activate us before we get up and start flowing. You're going to bring your legs back to that stacked upside down table position. Knees above the hips, toes pointing towards the ceiling. Put your hands on the mat. Push down into the palms of your hands and see if you can lower your toes away from you. Go to the point that you feel resistance and come back. Lower the legs. Squeeze the block. And come back. Now, if you want, you keep doing this, lowering, and it might literally just be a few inches. If you want it to be a little more challenging, you could lift the back of your head off of the mat and lower down. And come back in. Lower down. Keep squeezing. Come back in. And I think we only need 2 more of these. Keep squeezing the thighs together. Keep gluing the belly button towards the floor for the last one. Draw the knees towards the chest. Remove that block. Rock a little bit from right to left. And then relax. Take the knees over to the right. Any variation of a reclined twist. Maybe looking over your left shoulder for a few breaths here. And bring those knees back to the center. And take them over to the left. Inhale, come back to the center. You can keep rocking a little bit right to left, rock all the way to one side, and then press yourself up. You can come to seated and then to standing. You could do the same by bringing your hands behind your thighs. If it feels comfortable to your back, rock a little forward and back. And there you can come to seated, and then bring yourself to standing. If you want to really work your core, you can see if you can come from that rolling position, place the feet down, and come all the way up to standing. See how it goes. Maybe you lift your arms up. Maybe a little stretch up there, wiggle your shoulders, wiggle your wrists, and make your way to the front of your mat. You may like to have your block up there with you so that you can use it for balance in a moment here. Spread your toes really nice and wide. Inhale, bring your arms up over your head. Press the palms of your hands together. Exhale, folding. Inhale, lift up halfway, bringing the hands to the legs somewhere. Exhale, plant the hands down. Step the right foot back, and then the left foot back, coming to downward facing dog. We're going to linger here this first time, and maybe pedal the feet or sway the hips. And what I want you to think about, again, is drawing your belly button towards your spine. So you're hollowing out the pit of your belly. You're taking your belly further away from your thighs here by lifting it up and in. Doesn't matter if your legs are straight and bent. You're just lifting your belly towards your spine. From here, you're going to inhale forward to plank. Feel free to drop your knees down first. Come forward, shoulders over the wrists. High plank or low plank. Tuck your elbows in. Shrug your shoulders back. We're going to hold here for 5. Press down for all 10 fingertips. 4. Squeeze your inner thighs a little bit together. 3. Lift your belly button towards your spine. 2. And 1. Knees up or down, lower all the way to the floor. Untuck your toes. Elbows back, shoulders back. Inhale, lift to cobra pose. And maybe stay here for a moment. You could look a little over one shoulder. And a little over the other shoulder. Just stretch out your belly. You just gave it a lot of work there. And then exhale to release. Press on back to child's pose. Feel free to take your knees wider, rounding through your spine almost like a little cat shape as you bring your hips back towards your heels. Take a nice deep breath there. And then inhale, come on back to a table or to a downward facing dog. Walk or step or hop your feet towards the front of the mat, coming to your forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, roll yourself all the way up to standing. Exhale, press your palms together in front of your heart. Take a deep breath. Even here in standing, think about drawing your belly button just lightly back towards your spine so that your tailbone, instead of sticking out behind you, little duck butt here, is aiming a little bit more down towards the earth. You can soften your knees if you like to. It's not that you're shoving your pelvis forward. You don't need to go into this rather interesting posture. You're just neutralizing. So you're not leaning the tail back and you're not thrusting the hips forward. You're right in the middle and your core is engaged to help you stay there. And if you're not sure if you've got it, you can try the absurdity of this, bringing your pelvis forward and your shoulders back. It's really quite uncomfortable. Or this, sticking your butt out behind you. You'll feel a lot of tension in your low back if you do that. You want to be right in between those two places. Tailbone relaxed, belly engaged. From there, inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold yourself forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands down. Left foot steps back first this time, and then right foot to downward facing dog. Just take one deep breath this time, lifting the pit of your belly away from your thighs. And then inhale, forward to plank. Knees up or down again. We're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower all the way down. Untuck the toes. Roll the shoulders back. Come to your cobra. Exhale to release. We're going to go straight back to downward facing dog this time. Take a deep breath there. Again, lift the pit of your belly. As you inhale, lift your right foot to the sky. As you exhale, step your right foot forward. Ground down through your right heel. Graze the floor. Gaze forward is what I'm trying to say as you shrug your shoulders back on your inhale. On your exhale, you're going to soften your back knee and you're going to see if you can get a little bit of lift and step your left foot next to your right foot. Inhale, find halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, roll to the sky. Exhale, bring your hands to the heart. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant the hands. Right foot back, and then left foot back, downward facing dog. Going straight into a little bit more work here. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, step the left foot forward. Shoulders back, gaze forward is what I'm trying to say. And you want to kind of soften into your back knee, and you want to find a little springiness. You can even go a little back and forward. And then you soften that back knee, and you push off. You float for just a second, and you're all the way on one foot. You could be using your block here. The right foot steps next to the left foot, and you find your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll yourself to the sky. Exhale, hands to the heart. We're going to keep going. We're going to build from there. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant the hands. Left foot back, then right foot back. Inhale here. Exhale, lift the belly away from the thighs. Right foot lifts up as you breathe in. Right foot steps forward as you breathe out. And you're going to find that little springiness here, and then you're going to stay maybe on one foot. Feel free to walk your hands further forward or place your hands on a block in front of you for a little bit of better balance. Soften that back knee and see if you can spring forward. And you can do this a few times. You really push into that back knee and you give yourself a little bit of lift so it feels like really light and easy. I'm going to do 3 times just to make it even. And then draw your belly towards your spine and see if you can reach the crown of your head forward. It's quite helpful to have something a little taller to put your hands on here. But if you feel quite confident, you can also be floating your hands. Hold. Take a deep breath. Find the wobbles. And now you're going to step back. You can have your hands on the block or your fingertips on the floor. Left foot steps back. Plant your hands under your shoulders. 3-legged dog, or dropping the left knee, 3-legged table. Take the right leg behind you. Inhale. Exhale, bring the right foot or the right knee to the floor. Take a deep breath here. Lift the pit of your belly. Left leg floats. Inhale. Exhale, step that left foot forward. If you came with me from the low variation, you want your back knee to lift up And then we're working again to find that springy action forward to our warrior 3. So feel free to use the block. I like to start with my fingertips on the floor and then move to the block, but that's just my preference. Bend that back knee, press down into the left heel, spring. And maybe the first time you don't even get that far, you just kind of, you get this little bit of lift. But you keep trying, and you'll notice that if you do this, and at the same time firm up your belly, it's so much easier. You're using that core strength, you're using the leg strength to help you balance. It's not just that balance is like this magical thing that just happens. It takes strength. Take another breath, and then go back. Right foot plants down, hands plant down under the shoulders, left leg goes to the sky, either three-legged table or three-legged dog, your choice. And then exhale, bring the foot to the floor. Inhale, come forward to plank, no hold here. Knees up or down, exhale, all the way to the mat. Inhale, cobra, stretch out your belly. Exhale to release. Go back to child's pose. Scoop your belly up and in. Feel free to widen your knees. Take a deep breath there. Releasing the lower back. When you're ready, inhale back to table or downward facing dog. All right, walk your feet towards your hands and come to stand at the front of the mat, or come to dangle at the front of the mat rather. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, roll all the way up. As you exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart. We're going to go the opposite direction now. So we're going to go from our balance and step back instead of stepping forward. So we'll start here at the front of the mat. You're going to bring your weight to your right foot. You're going to lift your left heel, just like we did in the bridge pose earlier. And as you do that, tuck your right hip in. So your right hip isn't sliding out to the side. You shouldn't feel a lot of stuff happening here. Your right leg is straight and tall. And then maybe you can float your left foot. You may have to take lots of pit stops with the toes to the floor. That's totally fine. You're going to slide your left leg back behind you. Keep your belly firm. Keep drawing it towards your spine as you extend into your warrior 3. Keep that springiness of a little bit of a bend in your right leg. Feel free to use your block or your fingertips on the floor. Take a breath here. And then you're going to step back, far, far, far back. Walk your fingertips to frame your right foot. Plant your hands down. Lift your right leg up, three-legged table or three-legged dog. Maybe you want to go for a little stretch here, bending your right knee, stacking it on top of the left hip, scorpion pose. Square the hips. You're going to step the same right foot forward again, and we're going to go back into the springy warrior 3. So ground down into your right heel. Push into your left toe, spring. Maybe you take a couple of tries. Maybe it works on one. Maybe you use the block, maybe you don't. Hold here for a breath. Relax your left hip and draw your right hip in towards the midline. And then, of course, get the wobbles. Now you're going to see if you can stand up. Draw the left knee into the chest. Maybe, just maybe, you can stand up on one foot. Maybe you need to put both feet on the floor today. You're back exactly where you started. Left foot plants down. Shake it out. All right. Take a sip of water if you need one. And then we'll go to the other side. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart. Bring your weight to your left foot. Lift your right heel. Tuck your left hip in. You're finding that strength and integrity in your standing leg. And you'll notice if you tuck that left hip in, even your inner thigh is a little bit stronger. Your belly is a little bit stronger. Maybe you can float this right foot with that strength. And the more you have that kind of more neutral spine, so you're not doing this or this, you have a little bit of engagement in your belly, your tailbone is relaxed, the easier it is to get this leg up here. And then maybe you can go back. Feel free to do lots of little pit stops. It's okay if a foot touches the floor multiple times as you float to your warrior 3. And if you're thinking float, I think not. That's okay too. You can kind of plummet towards your warrior 3 a few times. All right, you're going to step way far back. Right foot back, hands on the mat. You're going to go to three-legged table or three-legged dog. It's your choice. Lift that left leg up. Option to scorpion, which is stacking the left hip on top of the right. That works in your table as well. If it feels good, it's a nice stretch for the front of the body. And then square the hips. You're going to go back forward with that left foot. Lots of back and forward, lots of core work here. And then you're going to find that springiness in the back knee, and you're going to see if you can float towards that warrior three. Now, firm up your belly. Press into your left heel. Spring. Maybe you can float. Hold for a breath or two. Keep drawing the belly towards the spine, and keep reaching the crown of your head forward, so you're creating length here. It's much easier to be strong and long than strong and crunched up. And then maybe, just maybe, you can see about coming to standing. You'll really feel that standing leg if you try that out. Lift the knee up. And plant the foot down. Shake everything out. We are almost done. We just have one more little flow, and then we're going to stretch it out. Lift your arms up, inhale. Exhale, hands to the heart, weight to the right foot, lift the left heel, potentially float the left foot. Fly to your warrior three. Maybe fly. Maybe it's a rather kind of test bird baby flight. Step your left foot really far back. Plant your hands down. Right foot goes to the sky. Inhale. Three-legged tailor, three-legged dog. Exhale, potential scorpion if you'd like. Inhale, square the hips. Exhale, the right foot steps back forward. You're going to stay right here. Left hand on the floor. You can put your left hand on the block and twist to your right. Open everything up. Shrug your shoulders back. Draw your belly button back towards your spine. And then bring those fingertips to the floor. Find the springiness of your back leg. Last warrior three on this side. Whoosh. See if you can lift everything up. Maybe coming to stand on one leg. Hopefully your leg is burning right now. And then put that left foot on the floor. Shake it out. We're going to take that home on the other side. Weight to the left foot. Right heel lifts. Maybe the right foot floats. Tuck the left hip in. Flying warrior three. And depending on how much you've practiced this, you might feel like a beautiful songbird, or you might feel like an ugly duckling. And sometimes that just changes day to day. Float your right foot really far back. Plant your hands down. Left foot to the sky, inhale. Maybe stack the left hip, scorpioning if that feels good. Inhale, square the hips. Exhale, the left foot steps back forward. Right hand is on the floor on a block. Twist to the left. You can take your left arm up to the sky. Shoulders shrug back, belly hugs in. Fold back to the floor. Soften that back knee. You want to find your springiness. Of course, feel free to use your blocks. Maybe even try whoosh, no hands. Really working the strength of your core and of your legs as you float back to that warrior three. And then right knee maybe comes in towards your chest, maybe not. Both feet on the floor. Shake it out. Inhale, bring your arms up. Exhale, simply fold yourself all the way forward. If you happen to have a block as you lift up halfway on your inhale, grab your block again, take that skinny part right between your legs and squeeze the block as you fold back forward. Whether you have a block or a book or not, push into the outside edges of your feet as you fold just to release your outer hips. Spend a few breaths here. Feel free if you want to add some arms. You can take them around behind you if you want. You could lace your hands into your elbow creases, whatever feels good. All right. Inhale, lift up halfway. If you're using that block, just move it out to the side. And as you exhale, bring yourself all the way to seated, and you're going to come back to where we started. Lie yourself down on the mat. This time, hug your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a little rock from side to side. Cross your left ankle over the top of your right knee. You can do this in the air, drawing your right thigh towards you, or with your right foot on the floor. Either way, maybe you like to rock a little bit side to side. As you're ready, right foot comes to the floor if it's not already there. Keep your left ankle crossed over the top of your right knee. Bring your hands down to your sides. Press into your right heel. Lift your hips. Find this little three-legged bridge. Release the hips to the floor. And take the legs over to the right, finding a twist. This variation of the twist where you put your left foot on the floor and your right outer thigh comes towards the mat may feel good. If it doesn't, feel free to take any other variation of the twist. You could stack the legs. You can wind the knees up like an eagle if that feels better. All right, bring the knees back to center. Hug the left knee to the chest. Hug the right knee to the chest. Rock. And then switch sides. Right ankle over the top of the left. Maybe you draw the left thigh towards you, or maybe you put the left foot on the floor. Just depends how your body feels today. Maybe you rock a little bit. All right, and then release the left foot to the floor. Arms down by the sides. Same thing as at the beginning. You can firm up your belly button, press into your left heel, lift your hips, and that should feel a lot easier in this little three-legged bridge. And if you need to uncross your right ankle, don't hesitate to do so. This is more just for fun than anything. If it's not that fun, you don't need to do it. Release the hips and take the legs over to the left, finding a twist over there. Whatever variation feels good to you. Feel your breath slowing down. Draw the knees back to the center line. Hug the right knee to the chest. Hug the left knee to the chest. Turn the soles of both feet up to the sky. You can hold the feet, the calves, the ankles, or the thighs themselves as you bring your knees towards their respective armpits for happy baby. To rock a little bit. And then release. And make your way to Shavasana. Finding any comfortable resting space for your body. You might like to again bring your hands onto your hip points or your lower belly. You might even feel it's a little warm in your belly there. We did quite a bit of core work to assist our balance today. Hopefully you feel kind of a little bit alive and awake. All that springing forward and back, testing your balance, catching yourself. And remember, it doesn't matter how many times you fall. In fact, sometimes the falling is the work. That's actually what your body needs to be doing, because as you work to catch yourself, that's when the muscles are engaging. That's when you are training yourself to become stronger. So each wobble, each fall is actually a benefit. It's a good thing. You could stay here a little longer. I encourage you to do so if you have an extra 3 or 5 or even 10 minutes today. When it's time to return, wiggle your fingers and your toes. And roll yourself to one side. And make your way to seated. As you arrive in that seat, bring your hands in front of your heart. We'll close there with a deep breath. In through the nose if possible, out through the mouth. On 3. 1, 2,